All right, we are back at Broward Motorsports. We got my man Dell working the digits behind the computer. Already getting it going. So, finally convinced you all. The jet ski is coming home. So, stay tuned for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are here in the BMW showroom, and I decided to cut this video short, a little bit shorter than the video that I did when I bought my Ducati. But this bike is going to be the new one that I decided to get. It is the, I don't even know what it's called, the 1250 RT. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's go out and check out the new ride as it should be right here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it's in the back, and I went ahead and purchased the new 2020 S1000RR with the M package, the carbon wheels, everything else under the sun. This is my new bike. For the ones that said I wasn't gonna get it, well, the ones that said I was gonna get it, well, both of y'all were wrong, both of y'all were right. So I definitely kept it a little bit of a secret, but there's a hell of a horror story that I had to go through to actually get this bike that I actually want to fill you guys in on about it, that I think a lot of you are actually going to benefit from it, and you would like to know this information because it was actually pretty important. But it is mine. I just paid for it. She is a beaut, as you guys can see. The beautiful carbon fiber wheels. This is the M package. It has everything attached to it that you can order from it. I do kind of wish it was in another color, like black or something. Maybe I'll wrap it, but the red, white, and blue, it's different, and the bike looks different. It looks definitely different. Some people like the asymmetrical headlights, some people don't. I'm kind of, you know, on the fence with it. I really don't know which one I like or which one I don't like, but both of them look cool. I really do like the painted subframe and the painted covers that comes on the where the crank and stuff is, but haven't ridden the bike yet. But if it's anything that the last motorcycle was when I bought my 15 brand new back in 2015, I was exactly on the fence, like, do I want this bike? Excuse me, do I not want this bike? Coming from always having a Suzuki, and again, it was still the best bike that I ever rode, and I still have the Suzuki. The Suzuki is not leaving, and after sitting on this bike, I just couldn't get rid of the Suzuki as well. So this bike will be on the channel. You'll see many more things obviously about this bike here coming up, but I wanted to show you guys this, and I have me a new S1000RR. So let's keep it rolling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in the garage and finally have the new BMW, the 2020 S1000RR M package edition in the garage. First impressions and everything on riding at home, it was very smooth. I really like the adaptive riding controls, and I will go into a little bit more further in-depth view of this. It was hell trying to get this bike actually back here to the garage, but we went ahead and did it. What I did is I did trade my 2015 black S1000RR in and decided to purchase this. And if everything that my black one was, well, then this one should do it. Again, first initial impressions on riding at home for the first 20 miles or so, I was really intrigued to see what the shift cam technology was going to do versus being on the older one. And I could definitely tell it has more torque, that is for sure. But due to the fact that you kind of have to do that whole break-in bullshit with the bike, and you can't rev it past 8,000 RPM, it was really hard to see because the shift cam technology, I believe they said it works from 5 to pretty much red line, or a couple, maybe 1,000 or so before red line. So I could only really feel it for, you know, 1,000 or 1,000 or 2 RPM to really feel it. But what I ended up feeling for that short duration of time is that you can actually feel a little bit more torque. But I can't necessarily say it was any faster or slower than my last bike because, again, I can only get to 8,000 RPM. But I'm sure once this thing opens up and I can actually take it up to red line and actually play with it, then we'll have a little bit different view. But as far as the looks and everything like that, it definitely looks different. I don't necessarily think, in my personal opinion, that it looks better or worse. Some people really like the symmetrical headlights. Some people really like the asymmetrical headlights. I'm not really deciding which one I like more than the other, but I really like this approach. The daytime running lights that you do get here on the bottom, and I can go ahead and power this up for you guys so you can see it. The headlights are going to turn on, and then they'll go away here in a second, and then you can see just the daytime running lights. I really do like that feature, and it's not like all of the other bikes that have dual headlights where only just one is on. I don't want to drop any names or anything, but it's not just one, both lights stay on. And then when you do decide to flip on the high beams, both of them do actually get brighter. So that's nice. As far as the gauge cluster is awesome. It's straight out of the GS series model from BMW. They definitely did a lot of things and took a lot of things from the GS BMW, like the wheels and parts of the buttons and stuff like that. But I really wish they would have did away with the key and actually put a push button start with a remote. But then again, you know, hey, there's some things that are great, there's some things that aren't, and I will go into all of the things upon riding it a little bit more about that. But she is here to stay, and many riding videos about this coming up. It is kind of shitty weather outside today, so unfortunately we can't get any crazy first ride impressions and stuff like that. It is raining outside, but hopefully tomorrow we'll have a little bit better weather, and we can go get some riding and get some miles in. I do need to break it in anyway, so but I think that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. Obviously not as exciting video as when I decided to purchase the V4, but no big deal, nothing too crazy. I was kind of, as soon as I left the dealership, I had to really get home because the rain cloud was coming, and I really didn't feel like getting stuck in the rain. But I want to talk to you a little bit about purchasing this bike and why it was hell trying to get this bike. So give me a second so I can get this set up, because this is pretty important. All right, so upon purchasing this bike, I want to tell you a little bit of a backstory about how I actually got this, but I'll keep some of it simple and straightforward, because I don't want this to be a 45-minute video on how it actually took me like 7 hours to actually get this bike, which is absolutely ridiculous. So you've seen in the beginning part of this video, my buddy Dell, he works for Broward Motorsports in West Palm. Great dude, knows great customer service, and will take care of you no matter what. Now, I personally really don't care for that company, Broward Motorsports, and today they really pissed me off, and I will definitely say, he obviously has to work there, he makes his money for him and his family and stuff like that, but he really has the customer service skills that place really, lacks, and they could really learn a thing or two about it. So let me go into about getting this bike. So I obviously paid MSRP for this bike. I really didn't get any money off or anything for it, and ask for any money off for it, because there was obviously a huge waiting list. But I was lucky enough to actually get this bike, and they got the second one that they had gotten, and supposedly the waiting list is like 6 months out or something like that. I don't really necessarily believe that's true. Bullshit. I don't necessarily think that BMW would wait and make individuals wait another 6 months to try and get a bike, but if so, great. I got it 6 months ahead of time. If not, then everyone else gets their bike, and I hope they can get their bike as well. Now, I went in with my black bike as a trade. My bike was fully scot-free and paid off and clear. No liens, no nothing. Clear title, never dropped, never anything. Clean title. So bike was registered in Illinois from when I used to live in Chicago, and bike has been paid off for years. Now, when I was going to use this as a trade, we got the agreement on the trade-in value. Everything was good. Agreed to the value of this and everything. And I said, okay, cool, great. Here's my trade. I give them the title and everything, and they give me back the balance of the residual value. I said, okay, no problem. How do you want to pay? Do you want to finance it, this, that? I said, no, I'm just going to pay with cash. Cash or my credit card, whatever. Then they come back and say, well, we can't accept your bike is on trade. And I said, why? What's wrong? What's wrong with it? Or is there something that I'm missing? They said, no, we don't accept trades from out of state. And I said, what do you mean out of state? And he's like, it has an Illinois title. And when it has an Illinois title, supposedly they can't validate that the bike is not been either dropped or wrecked or anything like that, but supposedly other states will share further information. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, so you're telling me as big as Broward Motorsports is, meaning they have like 4 or 5 locations, especially the one even in Fort Lauderdale, which is like 5 times the size, and this multi-million-dollar facility. And all of the people that move from other states that come to Southeast Florida and bring their boats, bring their jet skis, their dirt bikes, their ATVs and stuff like that. Every single toy or power sports feature that comes out with an MSO either originated directly from Florida and stayed in Florida, or just never left Florida. And those are the things and the shit that they buy. And he's like, well, yeah. So I straight up told him, I'm like, you're full of shit, dude. And I'm like, you're telling me all those bikes and shit that you buy from auction are all directly here from Florida. And he's like, yeah. And I know that's not true because my girl's bike, her Jigster, I know came from Georgia. And he said, well, Georgia shares a little bit more information. I'm like, you can't get a clear title bike if the bike has been wrecked. They said, that's not a state law, that's just illegal. Now, I'm pretty sure that's federally illegal because now you're like forging all kinds of crazy shit, but it's illegal. You're not gonna have a bike that has been wrecked or a salvage title and still has a clean title unless it's a fake title. So, needless to say, they didn't want to do the trade. And I said, well, how come? And now they're saying, well, we have to pay the out-of-state fee and stuff like that. And I said, so it's $300. They still didn't want to do it. Then they wanted to get their title departments involved. And I said, look, man, you're going to sit here and tell me that I have all this money in my pocket and you're not going to sell me this bike because my trade is from another state. So pretty much I have to say, fuck Broward Motorsports. This is the last time you're going to rub me the wrong way. If you want to see somebody that has great customer service and everything, Dale Moore, he's a fantastic guy. Went and picked me up after I sold my bike to somebody else that made the other deal happen. Went to go pick me up, bring me back to the dealer, treated me like a human being is supposed to be treated. Not saying that he was all over me to try to necessarily make the deal, but he's a good friend of mine. He wanted me to have the bike and obviously have this new feature, and he wanted to make the sale. And he even said, this is bullshit, this is annoying, this is ridiculous. How are you not going to accept something when the title is scot-free and clear, and it shows on the title when it was issued in like June 11th or some shit in 2015 that I'm the original owner of the bike, so how would I get a new forged title? And it was just back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. So Broward Motorsports, the last time, it was always like they're doing me a favor to come in and buy something from them. And finally, I just had it enough with them. So my recommendation is just really sucks. Yes, they're convenient. They have a monopoly pretty much down here in South Florida when it comes to a lot of the OEM manufacturers. I'm buying a brand new OEM bike because they're just that big, just, you know, here in Southeast Florida. But it just really, really sucked, and it's just a really shitty situation that which I don't understand, because you can buy a supercar or anything else and take it to any other dealer, but you can't come in with a out-of-state title, something that's been registered. And the worst part about it, he's like, well, I want you to go to the DMV on a Saturday, register your bike in Florida, pay the fee, then come back, you know, with the plates and the registration, and then we'll sell you the bike. And I said, look at him, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, how are you even have the nerve to ask me something like that? I said, the deal, it's $300. And he's like, well, we need to validate your title, and the DMV can do that. And I said, okay, buddy. So I got up and pretty much walked away. I said, the deal's off. Sell your fucking bike to anyone else that you want. Dell is the one that actually saved the deal, and he's actually the great guy because he wanted me to have the bike. and I like him. I hate that company. Let me tell you, I hate that company almost worse than Riva. And you guys know the video I made about Riva. They suck ass too. So just make sure you be wary and have your guard up every single time you kind of walk in there. It just sucks that they have all like the newest and greatest shit that's in the Southeast Florida market. But I truly believe if they could fuck you, they will. I don't think that Dell would ever do anything like that, because he knows if you screw and peer pressure your customers, they're going to remember that. They're not going to want to come back and buy shit from you. So, and he's definitely not like that. Not going to like that as a friend, and definitely not like that when he's trying to sell me something. Gives it to me straight up. This is the price. This is what it is. If it doesn't make sense, fine. If not, you know, maybe we'll cross lines and paths to do business in the future. So make sure you go see that guy if you're going to buy something from that shitty ass store. And that's pretty much about it. But needless to say, she is here, and more videos in the future and stuff like that for it to come. But when I showed up there with all the cash and everything at 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 9:15 they're telling me that we can't buy it because it's from Illinois. Well, to the managers and everyone else that works at that store that didn't make that deal happen, you can have all that, and you just lost out on another person that's got a shitload of money and a shitload of friends that have a shitload of money to buy toys and shit like that, because we ain't going there to help you. But she is here. This is my new BMW. Sorry to end the video off with a little bit of a negative drag, but it is what it is. But thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you guys have some real great things to comment and say about this, you know, whether the lovers and the haters and everything else. And we'll see you here for some more episodes and more cool shit on the Speedbug channel. Deuces, guys.